Today we're talking about rendering, and rendering is really, really important because it allows us to show things being a wee bit more realistic. So we've got our giraffe here, but giraffes aren't really black and white. So we're going to add a wee bit of colour to him, hopefully in order to get him to look a wee bit more like a real giraffe. Right? And the way it works is this. We're going to use our gradients. We may have talked about gradients last time, alright, but I'll go back over it just to be sure. So what I like to do, even when I'm doing my own personal work, is I like to draw out a wee box here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to practice my gradients. So I'm going to start dead light at one end. And I'm going to cover the whole thing really lightly with my colour. And then I'm going to start a wee bit further out. And I'm going to press a wee bit harder. And I'm going to build up my layers until I can start at one end and I can press really, really hard, making my lines really, really dark. And then I can fade that out, varying the pressure of my pencil until I've got a really nice gradient. It goes from really dark at one side to almost white at the other. And I'm going to use this on my giraffe. And giraffes are generally, I think, brown and orange. So these are the two we're going to use. I'm going to start with his antlers. I'm going to make his antlers a wee bit brown. So I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to bring it up to the front. And then I'm going to start using my layers. And I'm going to start making them a wee bit darker. And then I'm pressing really, really hard. I'm going to make him darker still. I'm going to do the same on the top of his antlers. Again, dark at the back and white at the front. But because the front of his antlers are flat and they're not sloped like these are, all we're actually doing is we're just colouring these in, and we're going just really, really light all the way across. Okay. Same with the head here. All right, so I'm going dark brown at the back, orange even, orange, dark orange. My goodness. And we're building up the layers again and again and again until we're dark at the back, light at the front. Dark at the back, light at the front. And what this shows is it shows that I've got a light source. So I've got, say, a lamp, or even just pointing at the sun. It's pointing straight at this front face, right at the front. Because as I get further away from the light, I'm getting darker. So that was how we do one. You maybe do your giraffe like that. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my duck. And what I want to do is I want to show that the light source from a duck is actually coming in from the back here. So that's where my light source is going. I'll draw a wee LS for a light source. Okay. So what's going to happen is my duck's going to get a wee bit darker, further away from the light source. So his beak's actually going to be really dark. And the back of his tail is actually going to be really light. So while I find a sharp black pencil and a sharp red pencil for his beak, one of the easiest ways to work this out is I can use my 2H pencil and I can draw a line down one end, and I can draw a line very lightly down the other. I can then draw a box. And in this box, I'm going to put myself a gradient. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to remember dark next to his beak. So I'm going to go dead bright, dead dark even. And then he's dead light at his tail. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down. I'm going to build my gradient up, just using the layers to build it up. So we're pitch black at one end. And we're fading it. exactly the other end. So we've got a nice big fade. And you want to try and make your gradient as gradual as you can. So all I can do now is actually when I start, I can match up my gradient at the bottom with where I've got. So I can match it up. So I'm really, really light back here. And I'm going to cover the whole of my duck, with the exception of his beak, because I'm going to do that red. I can cover that really light. And then I can bring my gradient down a wee touch. And then I can start building it up the other way, so he's really, really dark. Down that side. And I'm going to fade him out. Once I've got that sorted, I can then colour in my sides to match my front. And there's a couple of exceptions here. If my light's shining from this way, then obviously this is going to be blocked. So I can have that really nice and dark in there. And again, this is going to be really nice and light, because if my light's coming this way, you'll not be able to see it. I can do the same with my red pencil. So really, really, really dark with his beak. And I'm not going to get a chance to really do much fading here because his beak's right at one end. It's going to be quite far away from the light, so I'm going to keep his whole beak quite dark. And he's going to have a wee red hat on at the back. Like so. And I'm forgetting, I've got my wee bit here, and that's where the light's touching first. So that's again going to be super, super bright, super light. So that's two different ways to render in. I want you to try one on the other and one on the first.